The alien station hung in the darkness of space like a wounded beast. Its steel walls were old, scarred from forgotten wars. Around it, the dead star glowed faintly, its light weak, like a candle about to die. The place was not built for beauty. It was built for fear. Inside, the corridors stretched long and silent. Cold lights flickered, making shadows dance across the walls. Every sound echoed, every step of a guard, every hiss of the doors. This was not a home. This was a prison. The prisoners here were not soldiers. They were not criminals. They were not even grown humans. Inside the darkest cells of the station were children. Human children. The aliens had captured them during a raid. The attack was quick, ruthless, and cruel. The guards dragged the small prisoners through the halls, their claws clanking against the floor. To the aliens, it was a victory. To them, the humans were weak creatures, easy to crush, easy to break. They laughed at the cries of the children. They mocked their tears. But not everyone was laughing. At the far end of the prison, a chamber door opened. Out came an elder alien. His body was thin, but his eyes were sharp. He had seen many battles, many horrors across the stars. And now, when he heard the whispers of the young guards about their new prisoners, his blood ran cold. He entered the hall. The guards turned and stood straight. "Elder Vaynor," one of them said proudly, "we have captured the young ones of the humans. They are small. They are weak. Easy to control." The elder's breathing slowed. His hands trembled. He looked past the guards, through the heavy glass, at the children inside the cell. Some sat quietly, their eyes full of fear. Some cried softly. But there was something else in those eyes, something the elder could not mistake. "Fools," he whispered. His voice cracked. The guards tilted their heads in confusion. "Fools," he shouted now, the sound echoing through the chamber. The laughter of the guards died at once. Their faces showed confusion. One of them stepped forward, his scales shimmering in the dim light. "Elder, what do you mean? They are children. Harmless. Why should we fear them?" The elder turned slowly. His eyes burned with a terror the guards had never seen before. "You locked up human children." His voice shook like broken glass. "You do not understand what you have done." The guards shifted uneasily. The silence of the prison grew heavier, pressing against their chests. "Elder," another guard said, forcing a laugh. "They are weak. Their bodies are soft. Their bones can break with a single strike. What danger can they bring?" The elder walked closer to the cell. He stared at the children. One little boy stared back, unblinking. His gaze felt ancient, too strong for a child. The elder turned back to the guards, his voice now cold as stone. "You fools have doomed us all." The words spread like poison through the hall. The guards glanced at each other. Some swallowed hard. Some laughed nervously. But none could erase the fear in the elder's eyes. One guard finally broke the silence. "Elder, they are only children. Explain yourself." The elder closed his eyes for a moment. His voice lowered, but it carried like thunder. "You think humans are weak because you see their bodies. But you do not see what lives inside them. You do not see the fire that grows in their young." The guards frowned, confused. The elder continued. "You will not control them. You will not break them. And when they awaken, not even the stars will protect us." The air grew colder. The hum of the station felt louder. Inside the cell, one child placed his hand against the glass. The lights above flickered, just for a second. The guards froze. "Just a malfunction," one muttered. But his voice trembled. The elder shook his head slowly. "No. It begins." He turned and walked away, his cloak dragging across the metal floor. His final words echoed through the corridor, leaving the guards in silence. "Pray they do not remember who they are." The guards looked at each other nervously. Some tried to laugh again. Some tightened their grip on their weapons. But none of them dared look at the children anymore. For behind those young human eyes, something was already watching back. The prison fell silent again. But the silence was not peace. It was the silence of fear. The silence before a storm. And deep in the darkness of the cell, one child smiled. The prison did not sleep. Machines hummed. Doors hissed. The air tasted of metal and dust. But inside the cells, the children sat in silence. Some cried softly. Some held each other. Some stared at the walls, their eyes distant. The guards watched them with a mix of boredom and unease. "They are only children," one muttered. "They are harmless." But the elder's words still echoed in their minds. "You fools have doomed us all." Strange signs. It began small. One of the guards noticed that the cameras watching the children flickered every few minutes. The screens glitched, filled with static, as if something interfered with the system. The engineers checked the wires, the power, the circuits. Everything was normal. Yet, when the cameras returned, the children were always sitting still, staring back. Their young faces pressed against the glass. Their eyes unblinking. "Stop looking at them," one guard said nervously. "They are only children." But the words did not feel true anymore. Memories of Earth. Inside the cell, a little girl whispered. Her voice was soft, like a lullaby. She told the others about Earth, the forests, the blue sky, the sound of birds. Her words painted pictures in their minds, pictures brighter than the prison lights. One boy closed his eyes and said he could hear waves crashing on a shore. Another said he could smell fresh rain. But when they opened their eyes again, they were still trapped in cold metal walls. And yet, the walls seemed to tremble. The elder's secret. Far away, the elder alien sat in his chamber, his claws shaking as he wrote in an old journal. He remembered the wars. He remembered the first time his people fought humans. Not the adults. Not the soldiers. But the children. He remembered the way they adapted faster than any species. He remembered how sickness, pain, and fear only made them stronger. And he remembered the whisper that spread across the stars. "Do not touch the young of Earth, for they carry the fire of tomorrow." He slammed the journal shut. It was too late now. The fools had already broken the one law no empire dared to break. Unnatural happenings. In the cells, the children began to change. Not their bodies. Not yet. But their presence. The air grew heavy around them. The lights above them dimmed whenever they spoke. Sometimes, the glass wall hummed like a living thing. One night, a boy woke from a dream. He whispered to the others, "They are calling me." The others asked, "Who is calling?" The boy shook his head. "Voices. From far away. From Earth. They know we are here." The children held each other tighter. And in the shadows, the cameras failed again. The test. The guards grew curious. One of them opened the cell door and dragged out a child. The boy was small, maybe 10 years old. He did not fight. He only looked at them with quiet eyes. They placed him on a table under bright alien lights. Machines hummed. Needles pierced his skin. The boy did not scream. He only whispered, "You will regret this." The machines began to spark. The lights exploded. The boy was unharmed. But the guards stumbled back, their hands burned. What is this?" one shouted. "He did nothing. Nothing." The elder appeared at the doorway. His voice was grim. "You see now. They are not weak. They are not harmless. They are the seed of something greater. Something your machines cannot touch." The guards backed away, fear spreading through them. "But they are only children," one insisted. The elder shook his head slowly. "No. They are the future of their kind. And you locked the future in chains." The warning. The elder looked at the children in the cell, his voice dropping to a whisper. You cannot contain them. If they remain here, they will awaken. And when they awaken, they will not stop. Not for you. Not for me. Not for anyone. The guards fell silent. Their claws shook against their weapons. None dared look into the children's eyes anymore. Inside the cell, the children sat together, whispering in voices too soft to hear. But the whispers grew stronger each night. A strange rhythm. A strange unity. It was no longer many children speaking. It was one voice. The flicker. On the 7th night, the prison shook. The walls groaned. The lights dimmed and flared. Alarms screamed through the halls. The guards ran, shouting about malfunctions. Engines stopped working. Doors refused to open. The station itself was falling into chaos. And yet, inside the cell, the children sat quietly. They held hands. Their eyes closed. Their lips moved in silence. The elder watched in horror. They are not dreaming, he whispered. They are remembering. The screen fades. The elder's voice echoes. If they awaken here, we all die. The prison was no longer silent. It trembled like a living creature in pain. Metal walls groaned. Lights flickered like dying stars. Every corridor echoed with alarms that screamed without reason. The guards shouted, running from one end of the station to the other. Systems failed, then returned, then failed again. Doors locked themselves. Weapons refused to fire. Something unseen was tearing the station apart. And in the center of it all were the children. The stillness. Inside their cell, the children sat cross-legged on the cold floor. They did not speak. They did not move. Their hands were linked together in a circle. Their eyes were closed, as if they were sleeping. But they were not sleeping. The elder alien stood outside the glass wall, watching. His chest tightened with fear he had not felt in years. They are uniting, he whispered to himself. They are becoming one. The younger guards stood behind him, restless and afraid. Elder, what is happening? One demanded. They are only children. They cannot do this. The elder turned slowly. Not children anymore. Not here. Not now. The first sign. Without warning, the prison shook. The floor split with a sharp crack. Sparks rained from the ceiling. The guards stumbled, their claws scraping against the walls for balance. The children opened their eyes at the same moment. Every pair of eyes glowed faintly, like embers. And when they spoke, it was not many voices. It was one voice. We are awake. The sound was soft but heavy, pressing into the bones of every alien who heard it. The guards dropped their weapons. Their legs shook. What are they? One whispered. The elder's face grew pale. They are what I feared. The true weapon of humanity. The collapse. The lights in the station turned red, then black, then blinding white. Gravity twisted. Some guards floated helplessly, pulled toward the ceiling. Others were slammed to the ground, unable to rise. The children stood calmly as if the chaos did not touch them. One boy raised his hand, and the glass wall shattered like water. The shards froze in midair, hanging like stars around the circle of children. The guards screamed. Some fled down the corridor. Others raised their weapons and fired blindly. But the shots curved in the air and vanished before reaching the children. They are controlling the station, the elder said, his voice hollow. No, not just the station. They are controlling reality itself. The voice of many. The children stepped forward. Their steps echoed louder than the alarms. The broken glass drifted around them like a shield. They spoke again, their single voice filling the corridor. You tried to chain us. You tried to break us. But we are more than flesh. We are more than fear. The guards pressed their claws against their ears, but the voice was inside their minds now. Some collapsed, their eyes wide with terror. Others crawled away, whispering prayers to gods who would not answer. The elder dropped to his knees. His head bowed low. "Forgive us," he said softly. "We were blind. We did not know." The children's glowing eyes turned toward him. For a moment, the corridor fell silent again. Then the voice said, "We remember." The awakening spreads. All across the prison, chaos grew. Engines roared without fuel. Doors tore themselves from the walls. Lights exploded, bathing the halls in fire. But the destruction was not random. It moved in rhythm with the children's steps, as if the entire station was obeying them. One small girl raised her hand, and the alarms stopped instantly. The silence that followed was heavier than any sound. Another boy whispered, and every locked cell door in the station slid open. Other prisoners, creatures from dozens of species, stared in awe. Some ran. Some fell to their knees. None dared approach the children. The elders' fear. The elder's voice shook as he spoke. "They are not killing us. Not yet. They are showing us what they are." He lifted his head, looking at the guards who remained. "Do you not see? Humanity was never strong because of weapons. Not because of their ships. But because of their young. Because their children carry what no other species can." The guards did not answer. They were too busy trembling, too busy staring at the glowing circle of human children moving down the hall. The final step. The children reached the center of the prison, where the great control core pulsed with alien power. They gathered around it, their small hands touching the massive machine. The elder shouted, "No. If you awaken here, you will bring ruin on us all." But the children only looked back at him, their eyes shining brighter than the core itself. Their voice filled the entire station. "We do not awaken here. We are already awake." The core shattered like thin glass. A wave of light tore through the prison. Every alien fell to the ground, covering their eyes. Every machine screamed, then went silent forever. And in the middle of that silence stood the children, calm, still, glowing like stars. The elder lifted his head slowly. He whispered to himself, his voice shaking with awe and dread. "They are the future that cannot be chained." The screen fades. Only the sound of the children's heartbeat echoes, louder and louder. The station was broken. Its engines were silent. Its lights were dead. The vast prison that once held thousands of captives floated helplessly above the dying star. But inside, there was no silence. Inside, the sound of something new, something terrifying, had begun to rise. The sound of human children, awake. The walk of fear. The children moved calmly through the ruined corridors. Their feet made no sound, yet every step shook the walls. Shards of broken glass and steel floated around them, caught in invisible currents of power. The guards no longer stood in their way. Some lay on the floor, their minds broken by the voice that spoke inside their skulls. Some ran to escape pods, praying the void would protect them. But there was no escape. The elder followed at a distance, his legs trembling, his voice whispering prayers he had long forgotten. He did not know if he followed from fear or from faith. The voice of the children. At last, the children stopped in the central chamber. The heart of the prison. A great dome of glass looked out over the dying star. They stood together, small silhouettes against the burning light of space. When they spoke, the air vibrated, and the glass of the dome trembled. "You locked us in chains. You thought we were weak. But we are not weak. We are not afraid." Their eyes glowed brighter, their faces calm, almost serene. "We are the future of our kind. We are the fire that cannot be buried. And now, we are awake." The collapse. The prison shuddered violently. Walls bent inward. Steel beams snapped like twigs. The dying star outside flared with sudden light, as if answering their call. The elder fell to his knees. He cried out, his voice breaking. "Stop. You do not know what you are doing. You will destroy us all." The children turned their heads toward him. They spoke softly, but the sound was everywhere, inside every wall, every wire, every bone. We are not destroying. We are becoming. The elder covered his face, shaking. Becoming what? He whispered. The children did not answer. Instead, they closed their eyes and raised their hands. The star outside roared. The doom. Alien ships orbiting the prison saw it first. A blinding wave of light burst from the station, expanding like fire across the void. Their engines failed instantly. Their weapons melted in their hands. The crews screamed as the wave passed through them, leaving no sound, no trace. From a distance, the prison appeared to crumble, dissolving into light. But when the light faded, there was nothing left. No wreckage. No bodies. Only silence. The alien commanders stared in horror. A fleet had vanished in seconds. And yet, something remained. The return. On a distant human colony, far from the dead star, the night was quiet. Parents sat in their homes, waiting for news of the war, waiting for news of their missing children. They had prayed, but no hope remained. And then, the children returned. Not by ships. Not by roads. But suddenly, they were there. Standing in their homes. Standing in their rooms. Their parents wept, reaching for them. But the children only smiled, their eyes shining faintly in the dark. One boy whispered to his mother, his voice soft and strange. "Do not cry. We are home." Another girl held her father's hand, her small fingers cold. "We are safe. And we are not alone anymore." The parents looked at them with joy and confusion. Something felt different. Something felt greater. The elder's last words. Back near the dying star, fragments of the prison drifted like dust. The elder floated in silence, still alive, still trembling. He looked out into the endless dark and whispered, "They are no longer children. They are no longer prisoners. They are the beginning. And we are the fools who set them free." His words vanished into the void, unheard. But the truth was already spreading. The unseen future. The humans did not know what had truly happened in that prison. They only knew their children were returned. But the children knew. And the stars knew. Something had awakened inside them, something that could not be chained again. And the galaxy would never be the same. For the voice of the children was not finished. In the silence of the night, they whispered to each other, across worlds, across light years. "We are awake. We are one. And we are coming." The screen fades. Only the echo remains.